Give a damn about a hater when I feel like it. Not today, not today, not today, not tomorrow. Get out my way.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to Straight No Chaser. I'm your boy, the Bro-Kage Petty Pat, and Captain of the Red Cloud Pirates, Petty Pat. And on today's episode, after 3 weeks of being MIA, not making fucking videos, I am back and we are here to talk about the Prime Video series and the Boy spinoff, Gen V. Now, at first, I wasn't going to watch this because I wasn't sure if it was connected to the Boys. I thought it was just a one-off spinoff that decided to maybe do a prequel or something on a character, but then I took a chance, sat down and watched episode 1, and let me tell you, I was hooked. Hooked. I couldn't wait every week for the new episode to come out, man. This thing was crazy. And it passed it off to the Boys for the next season nicely. So, with that being said, let's talk about some of the characters in this show. So the main character this story revolves around is Marie Moreau. Marie Moreau has the power to essentially control blood. Basically, if you watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, she blood bends, like Katara did. Like, she just blood bends. But it goes well beyond that. But we'll circle back and talk more about Marie Moreau's power. And then you got Emma Meyer. Emma Meyer is also known as Little Cricket. She has the ability to grow small by purging herself or grow big by consuming a lot of food. Again, another great character. Had a lot of nuances that I loved. She was very bubbly, very perky, very fun to be around. Then we got Sam. Sam, I'm going to circle back around to. I ain't going to give you too much detail on Sam just yet, but we're going to circle back to Sam. Then you got Mr. Andre Anderson, whose father is a former Soup, goes by the name Polarity. He essentially is like Magneto. He has magnetic abilities to control metal, so on and so forth. And he basically wants to take up the mantle of Polarity, his father's old mantle. You got Jordan Lee. Jordan Lee has the ability to basically swap back and forth, gender swap between the male and female. They have different abilities depending on whether they decide to take on the male form or the female form. Some of those abilities are super strength. Most commonly, they're known to use energy blasts. They have enhanced durability, enhanced strength, enhanced agility, basic stuff like that. You got Luke Riordan. I don't really know how to say his name. Luke Riordan, I guess. He goes by Golden Boy. He is essentially the kid they are picking to join the Seven. He basically has the Human Torch's powers. Flame on and shit. But he doesn't say flame on. He just pretty much activates it. And he doesn't have any clothes that are like flame retardant. So he's just kind of naked all the time. And he doesn't stick around for too long. I want to say first episode, this dude, yeah, he's gone. But anyways, next. Then we got Kate Dunlap. Kate Dunlap, if you watch Umbrella Academy, she has the same power as, I forget the one sister name, but she essentially can push, which means she can push emojis. If she makes physical contact with you and says something like, go jump off a bridge, uncontrollably, you'll go jump off a bridge. Like, she basically pushes emotions and thoughts into people's psyche. We later learn also she has the power to read minds, but we'll circle back to that and why that wasn't a thing early on in the series. But that's pretty much the main cast right there. So this starts off like I thought it was just going to follow Marie Moreau trying to get her life back on track after her powers activated and she accidentally killed her parents, not being able to control her powers. So I thought this was just going to be kind of like a redemption story that type deal, and it was just going to follow her around. But no, it didn't turn into that. It turned out to be just as insane as the Boys. So we get to Marie, she kills her parents, then we fast forward, I want to say, I don't know, we'll say 10 or so years, because I can't remember if they actually tell us. We find out there's a school that we didn't know about that basically trains Soups to either be crime fighters or entertainment specialist, like essentially like what Queen Maeve did, Starlight did, things like that. And it is called Godolkin High, also known as God U. Get it? God U supers, because they are seen as gods anyways. But this follows Marie Monroe. She gets into Godolkin. That was her dream. And she wants to join the crime fighting portion of the school, which she is already being told upon getting there. Like, she's been told her whole life, essentially, that her powers are essentially nasty because she controls blood. They won't fit in the superhero world. So why are you trying to chase this dream so hard? Honestly, I think her blood bending, I'm just going to call it that because that's essentially what it is. I think her blood bending is dope. Like, keep it a buck. Like, that is a dope ass power to be able to, like, once she gets control of it, to be able to control the thing that basically keeps our bodies going, circulating through all our veins in our body. And some of the things she achieves later on, whether it be by accident or on purpose, is nuts throughout this show. So we start off with the show. She gets to the school. She meets Brink, who is like the head guy, or excuse me, I don't want to call him the headmaster. It's called God U. So it's a university. So he's the dean. So we meet him. She meets Jordan Lee. Jordan Lee, right off gate, is a prick. Like, they are not feeling Marie Monroe at all. And they're just basically trying to protect Brink because Jordan Lee looks up to Brink. And so you go to see Brink. We find out that Marie did not get into the crime fighting portion of the school. She is going to the like entertainment biz. So this is where we then meet Emma, Little Cricket, her roommate. Emma and Marie become roommates and friends eventually after a lot of trial and error. But and then we progress, man. We find out a lot about these characters. Like, we find out how Little Cricket, Emma, is able to get little. She purges herself, which means essentially she throws up anything she eats, and that basically makes her small. And like I said before, we do find out later on in the show that she can get big, and that means she has to consume a crazy amount of calories to grow. But she doesn't. She stopped doing it because her mom, being a control freak, didn't want her to do it. She thought it was, I don't even know why. She just thought it was becoming of a lady. Her mom is very image driven. So getting big doesn't look good to her mom. So then we also got, now let me circle back to Sam for you real quick. Cause we're not going to talk about Sam just yet. We're going to talk more about God U. So God U, like most things, like, of course, we get to see Ashley from Vought. She's, like I said, from the last season, she's running Vought now. We get to see her. She is essentially has a huge part to play in the school because Vought essentially funds the school, because whoever they pick out of the top 5 or who is the number 1 ranked student gets a seat at the 7, gets to become a part of the 7. And we all know who the 7 are. The 7 ain't even the 7 no more. If you really think about it, ain't the 7. Black Noir is gone. A-Train's starting to lose its speed. Queen Maeve faked her death. Like, there's like no one left in the 7. Like, it's essentially just Homelander low key. So I don't even know why they still calling it the 7 and trying to keep this persona up. Actually, I do know they trying to keep this persona up because it's a huge corporation running a superhero group. So they're trying to not let you in and let you see behind the scenes as much as possible, not making you realize that it's just Homelander now in the 7. And I think the Deep. Oh yeah, A-Train is still in the 7 if you watch the last season of The Boys, even though this man was slowly losing his speed. But this whole series, man, I enjoyed the hell out of it. Now, I will say, it wasn't as good as The Boys. The Boys by itself is God level, but this was nice. This was nice. Not saying this was bad by any means. This was a great fucking show. I just enjoy The Boys better. I like the characters on The Boys better. I love Butcher. I love MM. I love all Kimiko. I love all of them. So I'm just attached to those characters a little bit more. I guess maybe because there's more seasons of The Boys than there is of this. Like, I'm not really attached to any characters from this show yet. Like, I don't really have a favorite. I don't really have someone like I'm rooting for. Like, Jordan Lee is cool. I like Jordan Lee a lot, actually. I like them a lot. So yeah, we moving on. We later on down the road, we find out that God U is not what it seems to be, like most things Vought does. And they are running some underground facility under the school called the Woods, where they essentially kidnap students from the school and experiment on them, where they are at first trying to make a drug to control all the soups willingly and have them do whatever they want. But it eventually evolves into a virus. So then the lady running the Woods, I think her name, I forget her name. I don't even care about her because she was a POS. And if you don't know what a POS, she was a real piece of shit. I'm not going to call her the C word because I reserved that for real C words. But anyways, they are running the underground facility called the Woods. They were trying to create a drug to control all the soups in the world. But it eventually evolved into a virus, and this lady was like, all right, forget it. We just gonna create a new plan and see if you can get this virus airborne. Let's just kill all the soups, because we find out her reasoning later on down the road for wanting to kill all the superheroes is because her family, I think her husband and her daughter, were on the plane that Queen Maeve and Homelander let crash, essentially. So she basically has a huge vendetta against the soups, but she works at God U, so she has to play up this persona while using these students to eventually get them to the Woods to experiment on them. She has to keep up this persona of loving superheroes, even though she wants to kill all of them. Well, like I said, it doesn't start with wanting to kill all of them. It starts with wanting to control them. Then it evolves later on to wanting to kill all of them. Now, eventually this lady does end up dying, but I don't think she's dead. And a lot of people's theories seem to agree with mine that it was one of these shape-shifting students that turned into her and then killed themselves. But again, they never really confirmed. So again, it's still just theory and it's still just hearsay. But that's where the Woods is where we meet Sam. Now, Sam is Luke's younger brother. Now, Luke is, like I said, aptly named Golden Boy. He is the number one soup in the school. He is the next to take on the seat in the 7. He is essentially, they kind of line him up essentially just to be the next Homelander. But we found out that Luke eventually does kill himself. And all this takes place in the first episode. He kills himself after killing Brink, the professor, because he finds out that Brink has something to do with what's going on in the Woods and has something to do with his brother being missing. Now, keep in mind, Luke went crazy because we find out later in the show that Kate was pushing all her friends. Well, not pushing all her friends just yet, but she was pushing Luke to forget Sam and about the Woods every time Sam was brought down there, or every time he discovered the Woods and went to go see Sam. Kate would then push him and be like, forget everything. So eventually, if you get pushed enough, as we saw with Luke, you will lose your shit. He kills Brink. It leads to a whole battle between Jordan Lee and Marie, which Marie really doesn't do anything. It pretty much ends up being Jordan fighting Luke, which we find out Jordan is the only one who can actually really stand up to Luke and take punches from Golden Boy. But eventually Luke does fly up and self-destruct himself, which just leaves blood and guts spilled all over the quad or outside of the crime fighting building. But no one wants to give Jordan Lee the number one spot, being a gender swapping superhero. No one, again, this is like Jordan Lee and Marie are very similar, I think, as far as their characters. Like Jordan's power are seen as nasty and not fit for the superhero world, and a lot of people feel Jordan's powers, being able to gender swap, the world is not ready for a gender swapping superhero. personally, if I lived in this The Boys / Genevieve world, seeing Jordan Lee out fighting crime and gender swapping and having all these different sets of powers while simultaneous swapping back and forth between male and female, that would be nuts to me to see. Honestly, I would love to see that out and about as a superhero. And like I said before, I would love to see Marie out doing her blood bending and stuff. But again, that's what the world sees. That's how the world sees it. They're not ready for all of that. But Jordan Lee end up giving Marie the credit for stopping Golden Boy. They dress it up. Vought dresses it up as Golden Boy just going crazy because they're trying to hide the woods. They're trying to hide the fact that the woods is a thing. So they just chalk it up to Golden Boy being crazy. He lost his mind and just killed Brink. And then Andre comes in. Like I said, if you remember Andre, later on, if you remember me mentioning Andre essentially is Magneto. He has magnetic powers. He can control metal, so on and so forth. They essentially end up giving Marie and Andre credit for basically stopping Golden They become what do they call them? The Guardians of good. They essentially become the Guardians of Godolkin. I hate saying this school name. It's a fucking tongue twister. Godolkin. Golly. Anyways. I swear I hate saying that name. I hope I don't have to say that name the rest of this episode, but I probably will have to, so fuck. Anyways. And they get painted up. The Vaught's covering it up. They have Marie and Andre going out on all these media and press tours, basically painting them as the heroes of the school, even though Jordan Lee knows it was them who stopped Luke and not those two. So fast forward. I forget what Luke tells Andre before he self-destructs himself. I forget. I think it was something hinting towards the woods or ask his dad something. It was I forget what it was. But anyways, we fast forward later. Emma, they eventually do find out about the woods. Marie, Andre, Emma, and Kate. We'll get back to Kate in a minute. Anyways, but they find out about the woods. They're all basically investigating. They find out Luke has a brother who is also down there, so it becomes the mission to then rescue Sam. So they do end up rescuing Sam. They send Emma down. Andre sends Emma down into the woods after they find out how to get in. He has her shrink and basically sneak in through the vents and stuff. Emma meets Sam. You could tell right away, as after the whole awkward thing goes through, they end up killing a guard, because the guard is basically about to kill Sam. Then Emma, I forget, kills him, or Sam kills him. I forget which one of them kills him. Either way, this motherfucker dies, and it's a bloody death. But they end up, you could tell, after Emma saves them, you can tell they start to fall for each other a little bit. So again, they start to have like a little budding romance, because Emma has a lot going on between her mom and then somebody she trusted at the school, basically revealing her secret that she purges to get small. Like, it wasn't a thing known about the school because she didn't want everybody to know, because she sees it as nasty. Like, she doesn't like the fact that she has to throw up her food to get small. So Emma goes through it for a little bit. But her and Sam start to have like a budding romance, and eventually, they end up sealing the deal. She takes Sam's virginity. Yes, I said virginity. Sam, of course, has not had sex because he's been locked away in the woods, getting poked and prodded at for I don't know how many years. But they end up having a budding romance, and yeah, things blossom, so on and so forth. We essentially spend most of this with Sam and Emma on the run after they break out of the woods. And then Marie, Andre, Kate, still trying to investigate the woods, and the chick running the woods. So we get through all of that. And then we get to this. They find out everything that is going on with the woods. Then we come to find out that Kate has been in it the whole time, because we get to a part where they all forget. They don't remember Sam. They don't remember like days. I want to say at least days worth of time of things they don't remember. They don't remember Sam. They don't remember what they were doing. And then we later on find out that Kate was pushing them to forget because she was in on this the whole time. Like I said, she was pushing Luke to forget Sam every time he discovered the woods and found out he had a brother. Now, Sam's powers are like, I want to say, Black Noir's. Yeah, Sam's powers are essentially like Black Noir's. He has very enhanced strength, great durability, very strong, just messed up in the head. Now, there is a theory me and my buddy were playing around with Sam. So I don't know if you guys remember, Black Noir saw cartoons when, like, because he wasn't right in the head. Black Noir saw cartoons and they communicated with him crazy thoughts. Sam sees everyone as puppets. So I think with the way this show wrapped up, which I'm going to try my damnedest not to spoil the end for y'all, but the way this show wraps up, it seems like possibly Sam could become the new Black Noir, because I don't think the world knows that Black Noir is dead yet. So they could easily cover it up by making Sam the new Black Noir, because again, he's essentially Black Noir. Just, I don't think he's as good as fighting at Black Noir. He's just great at using his super strength. But anyways, like I said, we said they found out Kate was in on this. We go through a whole thing where they get stuck inside Kate's mind because she has been pushing too much, and we find out a lot of secrets within Kate's mind. We see the death. Everybody gets to see the death of Marie's parents. We get to see a lot of underlying stuff. We also get to see that Andre and Kate had been hooking up behind Luke's back well before he died. So that was kind of a big shocker right there, that they were already cheating. Like, she was cheating on her boyfriend. This dude was like essentially betraying his best friend. Like, that was nuts to me finding that out. Jordan Lee didn't really have a crazy memory that I can remember, but Marie Moreau's parents' death was crazy. Speaking of Marie, at one point in time in the show, Marie literally, she wakes up in some random kid's room, not knowing how she got there. She freaks out and basically explodes his dick. Like, I shit you not. She wakes up, freaks out, and essentially she doesn't know how she did it. And it activates her power. She just basically blows this man's penis off. Like, crazy. But anyways, back to Kate. Like I said, they went through the whole mind prison with Kate where they had to break out and whatnot. We also get to see Soldier Boy again, which is essentially Kate's subconscious protecting her. So fast forward, we get through. Kate then tells her friends everything. Of course, they don't trust her. She found out that just remember her name. So the lady running in the woods, her name is Shetty. I don't know her first name, but that's her last name. Shetty is her name. So we find out later that Shetty had been giving Kate medicine, which was essentially suppressing her mind reading powers, basically because she was trying to keep Kate under control. Like, she didn't want Kate reading her thoughts, because if Kate could read her thoughts, she would know why she was really using Kate to keep everybody away from the woods. But anyways, we find out later, Kate finds that out later, that she was being used by Shetty the whole time, and things go crazy. Before things go crazy, we're going to talk about this. Sam essentially goes to a rally for the vice president lady, who we find out in The Boys last season was a soup. We also find out that she has the same powers as Marie Moreau, but she has way better control over the power abilities than Marie has. Like, she exploding people's heads, doing all types of crazy stuff. Marie eventually does watch her and start to realize how she can do some of these things, but again, she's not touching this lady. Marie also tracks her down to tell her that about the virus that they're making, and basically to get it all out there, she meets with the doctor who creates the virus, and then she kills this man and takes the virus, because she, I think, essentially wants to kill Soups as well, or at least Homelander. So we fast forward. Kate and Sam go on a straight rampage throughout the school. They go down, they release every superhero kid from the woods, and they just basically go on a rampage through the school, killing all humans, not supes, just humans. And this leads to a whole big thing. Kate eventually pushes Sam to basically make him not feel anything. So Sam is now just someone who doesn't feel any type of emotion, pain, nothing. He is just a walking tank. So this leads up to the big final scene, and we see the Vought CEO Ashley freaking out, and she calls in Homelander, of course, because we all know, like I said, Homelander essentially is the Seven by himself. If you've been keeping up with the boys, you see basically the Seven is no more. Like it don't exist. But she eventually calls in Homelander. Homelander gets there. And again, I don't know why I thought this after how the last season of The Boys ended. I thought this man was literally going to come and help Marie and just calm everything down at the school. Nah, this man proceeds to fly down and just straight blast Marie with laser vision. And then that's the last thing. The screen goes white, and that's the end of the finale. Now, with that being said, with what they're doing with this is basically falls right in line with The Boys. This is basically going to be like a basketball game with The Boys and Gen V. So the first season of Gen V ended by passing it on to the next season of The Boys, which is season 4. And they're saying season 4 of The Boys will end with the show passing it back to Gen V. So it feels like they're just going to be going with a back and forth to The Boys and Gen V end, and all this stuff wraps up with Homelander, Godolkin, and all that stuff. But man, this show was amazing. I can't wait to see what they do with season 2. We do get to see a post-credit scene with Butcher showing up at the woods and walking into one of the cells. We also get a post-credit scene that Marie, Andre, Jordan Lee, and I want to say Emma survived. And the only thing we get behind this is they wake up in the White Room. Marie asks where they're at, and George's like, "You took that blast like a fucking champ. Anybody else would have died." Like, we don't really have any more context outside of that until season 2 comes out. This has, I think, been greenlit for a season 2 already, which is dope. I can't wait to see more. Please, Prime Video, keep this up. The Boys is fantastic. Gen V is fantastic. I'm loving both shows. And let's keep this up. The first season of Gen V, I will give a solid 10, bro. I'm giving Gen V a 10. And that's nuts. Like, because I don't rate a lot of things 10 out of 10. And that Gen V as a series right now, before season 2 comes out, is a 10. The first season was a 10. So check this show out. I implore you to check this show out. If you watch The Boys and you like The Boys and you enjoy watching The Boys, check out Gen V. Because I feel like you're going to have to keep up with both shows to understand what's going on in both shows. It's kind of like them creating their own universe, essentially, which is I'm loving, by the way. But that's really all I got to say about this show. Watch Gen V. It's a great watch. It's on Prime Video. I think it's about 8 episodes. All the episodes are about an hour long. But it is a great show. It is bloody. There is some crazy stuff that goes on in here. Like I said, Marie blew off some dude's dick. But this show is amazing. But that's my time. As always, keep it classy, motherfuckers. Deuces. Bam.